Welcome to SIS Stories. This is Miss Bacigalupo's English 10 class, storytelling under the theme, Enter, Return. This is Aditi's story. Listen to her talk about finding our own beauty in a spinning world.
It was terribly hot. With every single step I took, my breath began to fasten. And I was quite frankly just exhausted with all of it. Traveling through the streets of Jaipur, crossing by the beaded jewelry, the colorful tapestry, the amount of cows, I was just done. All I wanted to do was crawl into my bed, put on the air conditioning, and watch an amazing yet dreadful episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But I couldn't possibly do that standing in that palace courtyard. I felt a slight yet impactful touch on my shoulder. I looked back to see my uncle as he whispered the 4 greatest words I had heard in a long time. Let's take a break. I was so relieved. I grabbed that park bench and just laid down. I opened my water bottle and began the game of chugging. To be quite frank with you, I wasn't thrilled with the whole traveling idea. I was never really that traveling junkie and hipster you see on a normal day basis. That cliche person that goes on their Facebook account and writes, interest, traveling, eating, dogs. That wasn't me. I was more into staying at home, looking up weird things, researching, reading. And it wasn't really what I would consider my forte, admiring art. I remember being in front of the Taj Mahal, cornering through all the foreigners and the millions of people that were standing there, just to get a front seat view of what it looks like to be in such an impactful position, staring right at that beautiful architecture. And I was trying to feel. I feel as though movies really overhype this traveling thing, like it's some sort of gimmick, like Eat, Pray, Love. I was hoping to look at the Taj Mahal and contemplate my life, become a yogi, move to the hills, and supposedly change my whole life in just that 1 minute. But when I looked at it, I kind of thought it was overhyped. It was just really old marble and just a bunch of foreigners looking at it. I looked towards my left, and I saw all my cousins. I saw that look in their eyes. They viewed the Taj Mahal like it was Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, with sugar trees, gummies flying everywhere, rivers of chocolate, and I was just staring at them like they were apes in the National Geographic television. Like, what are you looking at? But by far, the most beautiful thing in that Taj Mahal arena was not the Taj Mahal. It was a cute little small one-eyed pigeon right next to me. And it was trying to eat the kernels on the floor. So instead of looking at this beautiful monument, I spent my whole time looking at this pigeon trying to eat the kernels off the floor. And it was just so brave and courageous. It never stopped eating the kernels. I felt as though the pigeon was my new role model. I even went as far to name the pigeon Caesar due to its bravery. But I heard a whisper from the back. Aditi, what are you doing? Look at the monument, for God's sakes. I mean, my mom really didn't whisper, as whispering in India was like yelling across the street. I honestly was just so puzzled. But I'm used to being in these kind of scenarios. I would classify myself as a daydreamer. Even when I was a child, I had to go through a lot of unfortunate things. My parents were separated, which means a lot of fighting in my household. So I always remember during recess time running across the field towards the little pond, and I would just sit there with my tight pigtails, my eyes crinkled due to the constant wind blowing in my face. And that to me was me time. I was at the age of 5, an independent woman that needed her own space. I didn't want to play with the kids, not because I was sad, but because I just needed that second to myself. By that pond, I could just do anything I wanted. I could be anything I wanted. I didn't have to live up to my reputation, didn't have to be the person that was constantly under pressure and was constantly doing public speeches and obviously always doing homework and work. Even at that young age, I would classify myself as a workaholic. But for me, that one moment in time was a place for me where I wasn't judged. I wasn't someone that I wasn't truly at heart. It was just my happy place, you could say. So sitting in this park bench in the courtyard in a palace, all I did was rest my head back. I looked above and I saw something I classify as the most beautiful thing. Not the one-eyed pigeon, but I saw the sky turning into a beautiful orange, ripples of red flying in, and it was just beautiful. There's no other way to explain it, but I entered a state of sheer joy and peace, tranquility. It was almost like I was in a movie. Just that time for me to realize that all this time I spend on my phone, doing things that I'm not really being productive with, not spending time with my loved ones, I was just away from the materialistic world. I was away from all that gunk, all that technology, all that garbage that pollutes my daily life, and I was just in front. I wasn't being forced to appreciate the beauty in front of me. In fact, it was just a natural instinct to feel that way. I felt truly happy, and throughout this whole trip of chaos and aunts and uncles constantly critiquing me, I was just finally happy. Looking at that view was something that I wish I could go back to now. Or every time I become stressed, or every time I feel like I'm gonna cry, I just imagine myself in that state of mind, being in that palace, just sitting there with just a few people around the corner, no one but myself with my thoughts, something I thought that was really scary at first, something I thought that was wrong with me. I always felt like me being isolated and enjoying that was a sense of depression or sadness or some sort of negative energy or vibe that I was giving off. But to be honest with you, it was just a sense of positivity. It was just a sense of being there and being calm, and being myself. So maybe deep down inside my soul rested a traveling junkie and rested a person that I'm truly proud of. Thank you.